Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a Sunday, summer, wonderful, sunny afternoon. It's not summer, nor is it Sunday, but it's an excellent day. And getting to you a little late. This is Turner Talks Faith on Tuesday. Turner Talks Faith on Tuesday. That's my 2019 uh, conversation. I started talking about dreams in 2019. Then I started talking about walking through open doors in 2020. 2021, I got you. I got you. And I have got your attention because this is the best season of your life. And I'm talking about faith on Tuesdays. Faith on Tuesdays. And regardless of your religious beliefs or whatever your background, faith is universal. And I want to just bring that to your attention. Turner's Talking Faith on Tuesday, and I want you to get it. And I really need you to tag somebody with this conversation. And I come to you today just for a few minutes. I just left a absolutely wonderful leadership conference, and I want to thank my leaders for allowing me to participate in just a phenomenal engagement with over um, close to 100 universal uh, pioneers, leaders in ministry and business all over the globe that came on. But I want to talk to you today. You're my assignment. You are my assignment. I've often asked individuals, do you know what is your assignment? And so how to maximize your assignment. And I have had the ability to go through various seasons of life. And I think all of them, and I don't think it, I want to share this with you. Each season of your life takes you to another portion of your assignment. Each season of your life takes you to another portion of your assignment. And so as you continue to um, grow and go through experiences, that's how I can talk about faith. I can talk about this universal application of faith and what it means to you, because I am so enriched by your future that I know that's my assignment, to get you to the point that you become a believer on what's getting ready to take place in your life. I need you. I know that's my assignment. Um, I've had the opportunity from years and years of business and experience to travel the globe, to sit up with some of the greatest teachers, orators, philanthropic contributors. And one of the things that I've found that each of them does well is gives back. If you don't give back, if you don't return, you really will never reach your full potential. You got to learn how to give back. And then so I found out that there is a orchestrated plot to have you feel you have nothing to offer. And that's why I wanted to talk to you, because there's an orchestrated plot that's out there that makes you feel you have nothing to offer, that who you are is for yourself and there's nothing for you to offer. And so let me put it in this wise. Um, those of you that are musicians, even though um, you may not be writing a score for a Hollywood movie, does that make you less than a musician? Those of you that are orators and preachers and things that you teach and whatever you do, does that make you less because someone has told you in order to be successful, you have to be on Hollywood Boulevard? I'm relating to you because right now I'm in Southern California, but I've been around the world. I've been literally around the world. And some of my greatest moments of giving back was not when the camera was rolling, but when there were tears in just a hungry man's eyes, or giving books away, or teaching, watch this, in South Africa, for a group of converted Muslims who just made their relationship with Christ a reality. Nobody saw that on camera, but it was an experience. The reason I bring this up is because your faith, who you are, comes about because of what you've been through and the pathway that you've taken. You will notice that I will seldom compare each of these conversations to the pandemic, what we're going through, because I honestly believe there is purpose in this pandemic. There is something in this that you and I are supposed to extract, and it's not fear. You and I are supposed to extract something from this, and it's not fear. Yes, I have a mask. Yes, I am scheduled. My doctor called me. She said, "Oh man, it's time for you to come and get your vaccine shot." So you all know that I'm in that age group that it's time for the shot. And yes, because of the care that I believe, and to implement the lack of fear in my those that are following me, that are in the ministry, I'm going to go ahead and take the shot so that I can get others to be self-sufficient and to leave that level of fear. Let me go back, because if it sounds like I'm rambling, I'm not. I do not come to you on Tuesdays to talk about the numbers in the pandemic, except the day I am. The day I am. As you have known, in America, if I asked you right now, what is the number of individuals that have passed from COVID since they started taking the count over at, um, where is it? John Hopkins, which is in Maryland, not far from where I live. I guarantee you somebody could tell me what that number is. Somebody could tell me, and I'll share it with you. You know it. It's over a 500,000 people who have passed. But I want to tell you something. Faith is not for the dead. Faith is for the living. Faith is not for the dead. Faith is for the living. And so some of you that are embracing this fear about dying, I want to give you something to listen to today. Your future is greater than you can imagine. Your future is greater than you can imagine, which I want you to find a delete button. I want you to go ahead, type it out, FEAR, and then do backspace 4 times and delete it, because you have the power on your laptop, on your iPhone, whatever tool you're using, whenever something comes up that you don't want to be in the text, you can delete it. And that's what I want you to do with fear. And then I want you, after you delete it, I tell you what, delete FEAR. No, let's delete REAF. Just delete the other 3 letters. F. Leave faith there. I mean, leave F there, and then put AITH in place of where there was a EAR. Leave AITH where there was EAR. Why? Because faith has more power than fear. And I want to speak to you that are on the verge of knowing and wondering through this anguish, sleepless nights and moments of things that you're going through. Do you know that that is faith calling you? That's your destiny calling you. That's your hope that's calling you. That's your future that is calling you. And so God is the God of our future. Yes, He controls death, but I want you to know that COVID did not stop God. The pandemic has not stopped God. The things that we're going through, God is just, that's why I sit outside with these ornate palm trees and flowers, to let you know in the midst of all of this, Do you still see life? Do you see life? Do you see life? What I'm saying is, where there's life, there's God. And where there's God, there is hope. And where there's hope, there's your faith, which means it's time for you to get up. It's time for you to find like minded individuals and say, no more fear. I'm walking in faith. And let me give you something else to understand. God continues, which means you have a future, and your future is bright. Do you believe that? I want you to believe that. I want you to believe that your future is excessively bright. Let's go back to the pandemic, which I don't want to talk about, but what has you concerned? There were a 500,000 plus deaths from COVID in America alone, over these last, since they started taking the count in February 2020. I bet you don't know this number. 3,745,540. 3,745,540. I'm going to say it again because we learn in threes. 3,745,540. Do you know what that represents? That's the number of new births that took place in 2020. There were 3,745,540 babies born. While they were counting deaths, babies were born exponentially greater than the number of people dying. Why am I bringing this to you? Because we got to recognize there are 3,745,540 new opportunities facing us as opposed to 500,000 that die. Turner, are you being insensitive? No, I want you to look at the exponential possibilities of life, even as it relates to you. While it looks like you've lost this, you've lost that, you lost this, guess what you're gaining? You are gaining an experience of hope and transparency that says all things are possible if I can believe. With God, all things are possible. And I don't want you to take that out of the equation because I think that is the key point that we have missed in 2020, going into 2021. We need to understand, do not be afraid to mention God. Speak about Him. Speak about He's being your keeper, your provider, your sustainer, your deliverer. Um, Instead of making it convenient to quit, let's make it possible to continue because everyone can quit. But you know God in your latter days like you've never known Him before. And you're going to join these 3,745,540 new births that are going to say, you know what? If births are outpacing death, maybe God is still alive. And not only maybe, but you have evidence, you have numeric evidence that the birth rate is exponentially greater than the death rate. Now, yes, I've lost some loved ones during this time. I've had to do eulogies during this time. I've cried with you during this time. I feel the pain of a loss and I understand grief. But I also know that there's a time and a season for everything. And now is the season for you to become adventurous in your faith, thinking about what you have been waiting to perform, knowing that with God, all things are possible. I want you to speak to your faith. I want you to speak. What did he say to the disciples? If you have faith, they're like the grain, size of the grain of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. You could start a business. You can start looking at your future. You can start purchasing your home. You can get your credit together. You can get your business together. You can get your music together. You can get together those things that have been lying dormant. It's time to activate them. It's time to activate those things. And you know what you need to do? Find someone that has a like mind. Because you know what? A sacrifice is not a sacrifice until it becomes a sacrifice. And pulling yourself up by a sacrifice means that it might hurt for a moment. It might hurt for a moment, but in the process, I'm going to become stronger. I'm going to become greater. I'm going to do what I have been called to do because I need you to understand this. This is not an insensitive conversation. It is absolutely true. After I've taken off my clergy collar with the last eulogies and done all of that, I never go and get in that grave with whom is resting because my assignment is to continue pursuing life until God says it's your turn. Your assignment is not to gravitate toward fear and worry about the end of a thing dying because it's not your turn. You have too much to give. And you know what? You've been waiting for somebody on the outside to uh, to inspire you or even to motivate you. You remember that little text? Greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. So your inspiration comes from looking around. I look around at these flowers. You see them? I look at them. They're blooming. I look around at that big tree. If they're blooming, I look around at that blue sky. It's without a cloud. What do I see? I see possibilities. When you look around, don't go to the darkest place, go where there's light, go where there's hope, and go where there's experience. Now, I want you to remember this number today: 3.745 million babies were born last year. 3.745 million babies were born last year. Procreation did not stop just because there was a pandemic. God did not stop just because there was a pandemic. And you know what the pandemic did? It established your faith. It lets you see how strong you really are. You're not hungry. You're not destitute. You're not homeless. You are hopeful. Did you hear me? You're not homeless. You are hopeful. And if you're in a place that's uncomfortable, it's time to enlarge your territory. Let's turn this talking faith to you on a Tuesday because it's now time for you to trust and believe, knowing that the end of your thing is going to be greater than your beginning. So I pray for all of you that have lost loved ones. I have. But I also pray for you that have been sitting too long because you should not sit another day when there is a blue sky behind you, there are flowers growing on the left of you, trees reaching to the heavens, which means you can go higher than you've ever been. Hey, this is Turn to Talking Faith on Tuesday. I'm sorry it took so long to get to you. I was in a phenomenal conference. I got to go back in there tomorrow and go do it again. Thank you for church family for helping Pastor to expand his mind and training and all the things that you want me to do. But I want you because my assignment is for you. You know who you are? I'm going to talk to you for a second. You're somebody that feels forgotten. You're somebody who feels at times no one notices and no one cares. And you know what I want to tell you? This message is for you because you're not forgotten. And not only does God care, but Turner cares about you. God bless you. Hey, Turner Talks Faith on Tuesday. Push that like, share this with a friend or a family member. Even share it with yourself. Watch it again so that you can feel inspired. And if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Turner Talks Faith on Tuesday. Blessings to you now. Bye bye.